As a real estate investor or contractor, do you ever ask yourself, how much can I safely deduct from my taxes when it comes to travel expenses? Well, today we're gonna go over a topic that my real estate investors and contractors do a lot for their businesses, which is traveling. And we'll go over the best practice and how to write those travel expenses off from your taxes. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Lenka Joseph, and I am an enrolled agent admitted to practice in front of the IRS, here to assist you guys with your accounting and tax planning needs, as well as helping you resolve your tax debt with the IRS. I am your blueprint to financial success. Taxpayers leave hundreds, if not thousands of dollars worth of deductions out of the taxes every year when it comes to travel expenses. And for good reason at that, because one, if not done correctly, can get you in a lot of trouble, as it is one of the biggest audit risk deductions out there. The second one is travel expenses, and if you don't have good record keeping and you don't deduct them correctly out of your taxes, can get you in a lot of trouble with the big guys. When it comes to travel expenses, it has to be really well categorized in your book, and you have to keep good record, you have to keep your receipts, and you have to make sure that you report the correct amount on your tax return. You cannot just decide to take a trip with the family, to go see some family, or to go, to go have fun somewhere and call it a business trip because you do have a business. And you cannot, you can do that at a business trip, but you can't just decide to deduct the whole amount of the trip if you do some personal activities on that trip. It's just a complete no, and it has to be prorated to the correct amount, and that's why good record keeping is really needed when it comes to deducting travel expenses. Your travel expenses have to be for business purpose. It has to be ordinary and necessary business expenses, and it cannot be lavish. You cannot have a $5,000 in income for your business and deducting $15,000 of travel expenses. That just doesn't make any sense. So you have to really be true to yourself and really make sure that it does make sense when you're deducting those travel expenses for your specific business. When it comes to travel expenses and meal deductions as well, meals expenses, I do get very nosy with my clients. The more note that I have, the better it is for both me, the professional, and the client. I want to know when that trip was made, pretty much who was with you, what did you do during that trip, did you do any personal activities, what were the meal, the days the personal activities happened, when did you travel, when did you come back, where else did you go. So I'm really nosy because it's both good for me, the professional, to cover myself and make sure that yes, that those expenses are in fact deductible, and it covers the client as well, because it helps the client really think about it, and it helps me get the real deductible expenses out of the client for that trip, to make sure the client doesn't get in any trouble with the IRS, and those informations are documented, and if the IRS was to come back, we are good to go, and there's nothing to worry about, as long as both me and the client are honest with each other. The thing is, most taxpayers, most business owners do focus a lot more on the meal deduction. And they do forget that usually the meal deduction is 50% deductible, and travel expenses are actually 100% deductible, except for the meal part of the travel of the business trip. Usually it would still be 50%, but that's one thing to think about when it comes to travel expenses as a business owner, that those expenses are actually 100% deductible, and they just need to be documented the correct way, and consult your accountant to know what is deductible and what is not deductible. And again, as usual, I usually tell my clients everything that happens in the trips, even if it's business or if you had some personal activities, just keep the receipts, because it can end up being a business activity if business was conducted during that activity, except again if it's entertainment. As we know, those are no longer deductible. Let's go over what would be considered a business need, a trip that you need to take for business purpose, right? So if you need to travel to meet with a client, to meet with an employee, that would be a business trip. If you are meeting with an investor, a vendor for your business, or an affiliate, a business partner for a board meeting, to go visit your investment, let's say a rental property, or to go to a workshop, a seminar, or a training, those will be essentially a business trip, a need for your business trip. Let's go over the expenses that are actually deductible for your business trip. It's usually pretty much all the expenses that you accumulate during the business trip. The transportation is deductible. If you fly, that airplane ticket, if you drive, if you buy a rental, if you take the train, all those are deductible. And then again, when it comes to flying, if you were to drive your car to go to the airport, to take a plane for a business trip, remember to take that mileage deduction for your car, because you drove that car for business purpose. If you were to take a cab, Uber, or whatever it is during the trip, or to take you to the airport and back, those are deductible. The meal, usually 50% deductible, 100% deductible for 2021 and 2022. Any parking, any valet, any toll tickets, all those are deductible. So make sure again to keep track of everything, to keep the receipts, to record that. And then again, what I usually do for my clients is that I have multiple levels when it comes to the meal deductions. And here are some little tips that you probably did not know about. So if you were to travel outside of the United States for less than 1 week, which is 7 consecutive days, your trips will be considered entirely business deductible. And then again, if you are going to do that, make sure to speak to your accountant and plan this correctly. Also, if you were to travel outside of the country and you spend less than 25% of your time on personal activities, that would also be considered 100% a business trip. So, and then again, make sure to consult your accountant, because again, we just have to make sure that we use logic here. Even if it was less than 25% and you actually, let's say, go to the zoo, you can't deduct that zoo ticket for business expenses. So again, make sure that you use logic and you speak to your accountant. So let's count the business days. What would be considered the business days that you actually can use as a business travel expense to deduct on your taxes? The day that you leave for a business trip and the day that you come back are business days. The day that you have any business activities, the days that requires for you to be there are business expenses, business trip expenses. Some weekends and holidays would also be considered business trip expenses. So let's say that you were to leave on a Thursday for a business trip. You have a business meeting on Friday and one on a Monday, and Saturday and Sunday there's no business activities that requires you for you to be there. Well, it wouldn't make any sense for the IRS to require you to travel back and come back again. It really doesn't make any sense, regardless, for you business wise and for them. So really, if you are stuck there, as they kind of say, you're stuck there because of the holiday, because there was a business hours workday there, which is the weekend, that would also be considered a business day expense, and you don't have to prorate that out. Again, whatever days that you do not have any business activities on, you have to prorate it out. So you have to prorate your travel expenses when it comes to that. Just make sure to think about that and know to do so, and make sure to contact your accountant. Again, if you are If you have any questions, any concerns, and you just don't know what days are should be expensed out and what days should not be deductible, make sure to contact your accountant, or if you can book a consultation call with me, and I'll be more than happy to assist. And then again, remember, those can definitely be planned out, and make sure that you use your business trips to the best of its ability, and use that deduction, that 100% deduction on your taxes to lower your tax liabilities as much as possible. So make sure to share that video, and let me know if you need assistance with anything, and I will see you guys soon.